questioner comes up to the microphone. I was just saying, I have done curriculum development for several research institutions over the years, and one thing that I've found has worked very well at different research institutions in terms of bringing the disciplines together has been setting up agnostic spaces. And I'm wondering if you can speak to that, about what happens when people are budged away from their disciplinary specific domains and come into a space where you have owned by nobody but serves everyone. I'd love to hear your comment.
It's a very important question. I will send emails to some organizers here, an article that came out in the Review of American Culture some years ago about the Topological Media Lab. Can you hear me? Topological Media. I was very fortunate to receive the Canada Research Chair, the first research chair in arts in Canada, back in 2005. And for 10 years, we had very good funding from the federal government in Canada for doing what Canadians call research creation. It's a very different setup. I think should be discussed in this context, what that means. The spaces were curated, not agnostic, but to be very brief, when people came to us or to me, there was, because it was not a curricular program, I taught in the curricular program, computer science and design, okay? However, they could come from anywhere because my funding came directly from the federal government, and we had a CFI for infrastructure money. The money came directly from the federal government. There were it was up to the director to decide who was in, who was out. So basically, the idea was that anybody could come when they were attracted to the work that we were already doing. And I would say to people, you come with some expertise. You have a métier, okay? You already have the expertise. This is after you finish your courses. If you haven't taken your courses yet, finish them or do something that gives you a métier and then come. And we would speak for a year. We'll have a conversation for a year. You can hang out, have lunch here. Just walk in, okay, for a year. And don't just talk to me, talk to everybody in this swarm of bees. And then after a year, we'll understand if it's a mutually a beneficial relationship. And then we'll begin to draw up different ways to enroll people into the work. But it's more detailed than that. It's in this article, but it's a very good question. Yeah.
We've kind of run over time, so although I can see that there are other questions that are bubbling up and people want to ask, I do want to draw this section to a close. I'm going to propose a 10-minute break, if that's okay, and try and keep to the 10 minutes. The next section is much more involving all of you very actively, very proactively, hopefully. So it will be a very different dynamic. We'll have a little introduction just to lay out exactly what we hope you to want you to do, but it will be very different. But yeah, I think certainly from my perspective, you know, we've had a description of a really beautiful application of integrated practice, tackling really complex challenges, trying to rethink healthcare. We've had the invocation of a very important report, again, that I think can help us to fundamentally rethink education. And I think Xinwei's laid out some beautiful provocations, some thought and practical provocations. So that was, I think, a great start from my perspective. So if I can just invite you to thank our three speakers and then take a very quick 10-minute break.